must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
A very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for finding time to being with us. This is Diaspora Dispatches, where I get to bring you the latest happenings across the continent of Africa. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and I'm coming to you all the way from Kenya's capital here in Nairobi. A beautiful afternoon, just about 6 minutes past 3 p.m. East African time, and we'll start our bulletin from Somalia. And Somalia's President Muhammadu Farmajo has picked a new spy chief days after the Prime Minister appointed a different person for the job. The move further deepens the row between the President and the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Mohamed Roble sacked the intelligence head Fahad Yassin after defying his order to give a comprehensive report on a missing female spy agent. Within 48 hours, the President said the Prime Minister had no authority to sack the intelligence chief and reinstated him. President Farmajo has now appointed Yassin Abdullahi Mohammed as the acting spy chief. The former intelligence head has been named the President's security advisor. This is not the first time the President and the Prime Minister have differed in public. In August, the Prime Minister traveled to Kenya and signaled bilateral agreements despite the President's ban on agreements with foreign entities until after elections. And then we move on to Morocco, and the people in Morocco are voting in parliamentary and local elections. Many voters are concerned about the economic impact of the coronavirus pandemic, which has also meant that no big political rallies could be held. The moderate Islamist Justice and Development Party has led Morocco's coalition governments over the past decade, but analysts say voters feel the parliament has little meaningful influence. All real power continues to lie in the hands of King Mohammed VI. And then we go to Guinea, and military leaders who seized power in Guinea have released about 80 prisoners ahead of the summit of the West African grouping ECOWAS. The leaders of the ECOWAS bloc are due to meet virtually today to discuss the Guinea coup and the political transition in Mali. The prisoners had been opponents of President Alpha Conde, who was ousted by special forces under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya. He has accused Mr. Conde, who's 83 years old, of rampant corruption, human rights abuses, and mismanagement. Ismail Conde, a member of the opposition FDG party, said his time in prison had been difficult, but he is now hoping for a better future for his country. And then we go to South Africa, where 5 officials of South Africa's Home Affairs Department have been suspended for their role in issuing residence papers to a Malawian fugitive pastor. Pastor Shepherd Bushiri had acquired permanent residence documents that were questioned by the authorities. He fled the country after escaping bail in an ongoing fraud and money laundering case. Home Affairs Minister Aaron Masoledi said the 5 officers were facing the disciplinary measures after investigations were concluded. The minister denied reports that the fugitive preacher had captured the Department of Home Affairs and had officers working to make his life easy. Mr. Bushiri is in Malawi, and his extradition case is yet to be concluded. And then we go to the Gambia, and a close ally and senior figure in Gambian President Adama Barrow's government has quit in protest of a new alliance between the president's party and the former long-serving leader Yahya Jammeh. Mr. Barrow defeated the former president in 2016 elections, but he initially refused to step down and then fled the country after a month-long standoff. A commission of inquiry into crimes committed during Mr. Jammeh's presidency is due to report its findings to President Barrow this month. The ex-president has faced numerous charges of rape as well as other crimes including torture, murder, and arbitrary arrests. And then we move on to Libya, And the government says its forces have arrested a senior Islamic State group figure. Mbarak al-Kazimi was captured at Bani Walid, southeast of capital Tripoli. Prime Minister Abdul Hamid Deiba has said the arrest was a great success that will make it possible to gather information on Islamic State. 3 years ago, the group was driven out of the last bit of territory it held in Libya. Its members are now in hiding, a hold-up in the desert, but they remain a threat to the country and the region. And then we go to Nigeria, where detained Nigerian separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu has sued President Muhammadu Buhari for violating his fundamental human rights. In a suit filed at the High Court of Abia State in southeast Nigeria, Mr. Kanu is also asking to be paid 5 billion naira, that is equivalent to $5 million for various damages he has suffered. He's also asking the government to stop his prosecution, set him free, and return him to the UK, where he was based before his arrest. Mr. Kanu also wants the Nigerian government to apologize to him for infringement of his fundamental rights. The IPOB leader is facing treason charges as well as running an illegal company, publishing defamatory material and illegal possession of firearms. His lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, said in a statement that his client was compelled to enforce his human rights due to the unbroken chain of infringements. The lawyer cited the 2017 extrajudicial attempt of Mr. Kanu's life, his going on to exile, abduction in Kenya in June, and extradition to Nigeria. Mr. Kanu is expected back in court on the 31st of October. And then we head over to Uganda, where Ugandan police accused 2 opposition members of parliament of masterminding a wave of recent killings in the central region of Greater Masaka. Alan Sewa Nyama and Muhammad Segirinya of the National Unity Platform NUP have been charged with murder and attempted murder. But their party's Vice President Matthias Mpunga has told the BBC the charges are merely an attempt to alienate the party from its grassroots support. About 26 people have been murdered by machete-wielding assailants in recent weeks in the region, some hacked to death in their own homes. Police spokesperson Fred Enanga told the media on Monday that the 2 politicians were the masterminds and have been holding meetings near Kampala to plan the attacks. However, they have not yet been tried and will be remanded to prison until 15th of September. 12 other suspects have already been arrested and charged. This is the 3rd time in recent years that the Masaka region has experienced a spate of murders. And then the latest from Mali is that the West African bloc ECOWAS said on Tuesday that it feared potential delays in elections in Mali aimed at restoring civilian rule following last year's coup. In a statement, the group said it remained worried by the lack of concrete action to prepare for the vote, which has been promised for February 2022 by strongman Colonel Assimi Goïta. The announcement came at the end of a 3-day mission to Mali led by former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan. The 15-nation economic community of West African states, ECOWAS, bloc, has repeatedly voiced fears about the situation in Mali, one of the region's poorest and most volatile states. And just part of that statement from ECOWAS read, the mission recalled the importance of respecting the date of the announced elections in order to demonstrate the credibility of the transition process. Now, already struggling with the bloody jihadist conflict, Mali slid into political turmoil last year, culminating in a military coup in August 2020 against elected President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta. And then we head over to the DRC, where President Felix Tshisekedi will wrap up his 2-day visit to Turkey today. Tshisekedi was received at the presidential palace in Ankara by his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Tuesday. The visit is the first by Congolese president. Their talks focused on bilateral cooperation and relations between Turkey and Africa. According to the Congolese presidency, and the 2 leaders also expressed their common desire to increase trade between the 2 countries with the objective of reaching a volume of $250 million in the medium term. Turkey has increased its presence in Africa in recent years. The number of Turkish diplomatic missions on the continent has increased from 12 in 2002 to 43 this year. And we go to South Sudan, where legislators from the Western Equatoria State have called on the government to constitute a national fact-finding committee to find out the root causes and those behind Tambura violent conflict. This came after 24 more people were killed in a renewed clashes on Monday. Local authorities estimate that nearly 200 people have been killed and about 30,000 others displaced between June and August. Over the weekend, religious leaders in Western Equatoria blamed the state and the national government for failing to put to an end the ongoing atrocities against civilians in Tambura County. Now, Member of Parliament from the volatile area has called on the national government to swiftly send an independent committee to investigate the matter. They say the conflict in Tambura is a national crisis that needs a national response. After the meeting, the first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, on Tuesday, Akagelo Minawe, who represented Tambura County at the TNLA, said on behalf of his colleagues, and I will quote him, "We reached a resolution that it is a must that a fact-finding committee be sent to Tambura to go and find out what exactly is the cause of the violent conflict there. The committee should be at the level of the national government." Very well, and hopefully they'll find a solution for that. And then we end our bulletin this afternoon in Sudan, where Sudan summoned Ethiopia's ambassador to Khartoum to inform him that 29 corpses found on the banks of a river abutting Ethiopia were those of Ethiopian citizens from the Tigray ethnic group, Sudan's foreign ministry has said. It said in a statement late on Tuesday that the ambassador had been summoned on August 30th and was told that the bodies had been found between July 26th and August 8th on the Sudanese side of the Setit River, known in Ethiopia as the Tekeze. The corpses were identified by Ethiopians residing in the Wad al-Hulayua area of eastern Sudan, it said. The statement did not say how the people died. Dina Mufti, a spokesperson for the Ethiopian Foreign Affairs Ministry, did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The river is the current de facto borderline between territory controlled by Tigrayan forces and those controlled by Amharan forces, allied with Ethiopia's federal government. At a different point, the river also separates Sudan from Ethiopia. And that is the latest from the continent this afternoon. I see you, Biafrans, you're present, and nice to have you and the rest of our viewers where you're watching us from this afternoon. Of course, that information from Ethiopia is worrying, and we know there has been a massacre ongoing in Ethiopia, and we talked about it yesterday. I don't want to get too much into it. So now there have been dead bodies have been spotted, floating in this river, and Sudan authorities were able to at least retrieve about 29 bodies, and all of these bodies are from the Tigrayan ethnic group in Ethiopia. That right now we know there is an ongoing conflict between the Tigrayan forces and the Ethiopian government. So there's a sad stories coming from Sudan there. But the news that I just read a while ago of detained leader, IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, now is suing President Muhammadu Buhari, for violating his fundamental human rights, and in a suit filed at the High Court of Abia State in southeast Nigeria, Mr. Kanu is also asking to be paid about 5 billion naira, that is equivalent to $12 million US, for various damages that he has since suffered under the hands of the Nigerian government. He's also asking the government to stop his prosecution, to set him free. We know he's been detained in Nigeria since June. He's asking the government to set him free and return him to the UK, where he was based before his arrest. Mr. Kanu also wants the Nigerian government to apologize to him for the infringement of his fundamental rights. And of course, he's facing treasonous charges, as well as the Nigerian government is saying that Mr. Kanu is running an illegal company, publishing defamatory material and illegal possession of firearms. So that is just some of the very hefty charges that have been leveled against Kanu that is facing. Remember, he was supposed to be taken to court. What month was that? And that was postponed, and now the next date has been set for October 31st. That is next month, the end of next month. So I don't know if this time the government of Nigeria will present him to the court, or I don't know how they're planning to continue handling this matter. The lawyer of Mr. Kanu, his name is Aloy Ejima. I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with that name right now. Cited the 2017 extrajudicial attempt on Mr. Kanu's life. He's going to exile, abduction in June, and extradition to Nigeria. This is just among the things that he's citing as have greatly infringed on the rights of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu. And so he's decided through his lawyer to sue President Muhammadu Buhari, not the government of Nigeria, but the person of President Muhammadu Buhari for violating his fundamental rights. Yesterday, while we were talking here, I was telling you President Buhari was meeting with his security team, the Minister of Defense, Minister of the people responsible for state security in Nigeria. We know there's been a spate of increased banditry activities, kidnappings, name it, all criminal activities you can think about have been going on in Nigeria and have escalated by the day. And President Buhari, has not really done much to respond effectively to the insecurity. So he was meeting with his team yesterday, and I was hoping I'll come here today with the details of some of the things they discussed yesterday. But I've looked and checked and tried to see if I could find any information from the Nigerian media. I could not find any. So perhaps the things they discussed were security matters can be very sensitive, so they want to share. But that was not the first time. They've been meeting. That is not the first time that President Buhari has held these kinds of meeting with security apparatus in the country in a wake of the rise of insecurity in Nigeria. But even after meetings like this, nothing much happens really. The insecurity continues, the abductions continues. Schools now have closed in a part of Nigeria because our children of the mass kidnappings we've witnessed in schools. So this has become a great concern. And I was just saying here the other day, this should not just be a concern for Nigeria. This should be a concern for us, the rest of Africans in this continent, right? If schools now are closing and children are not able to go to school, this should be a concern. This tells us that things are not okay in Nigeria. And so hopefully this meeting President Buhari held yesterday with the security leadership in the country might bear some fruits, hopefully. I don't know, because as I said, he's had these meetings before and nothing much has come out of it. We've just seen things get worse. And so I don't know what they discussed different this time, but as I said there also, I've not seen any details of that meeting and what they said yesterday. So anyway, okay, I see you have a lot to say, Daniel Galal. Thank you so much for watching. And very well. So also another crisis, or rather it's not really a crisis per se, but a close ally and a senior figure in Gambia, and very close ally to Gambian President Adama Barrow's government, has quit. I think she was working in the Department of Communication because Adama Barrow's party wants to work together with the party of the former President Yahya Jammeh. You know the history and what happened there. Yahya Jammeh was defeated. He did not want to leave, and there was a protracted war for like a whole month. And so he escaped finally. I think his Yahya Jammeh went to, what do you call it? This Guinea, Equatorial Guinea. Yeah, that's where Yahya Jammeh went to. And so he's been hiding there for quite some times now. And, so now over a lot of, because there's an inquiry that was set to look into the crimes that he committed during his presidency and the findings thereof, a lot of rapes, a lot of kidnappings, a lot of extrajudicial killings and all that. And so it is quite, I don't know, it's ironic or it's just confusing even for Gambians themselves, that the president right now, President Adama Barrow, will choose to work with the party of the former president, Yahya Jammeh. On one hand, I think it's good. If you want to have a united country, you have to reach out, even to the opposition and find a working relations that will benefit the whole population. But on the other hand, I don't know if if their ideologies and things like that, I don't know if they match. I don't know if they think the same way or they. I'm confused. So you can imagine what that will look like for the people of Gambia. But a close ally to President Adama Barrow said, no, I cannot be part of that mess. If you want to welcome them here, and according to my own conviction as a person, I cannot even bring myself to working with the other side. So she resigned and she quit the government. So I don't know if that is something that a story we shall be looking to follow there. And of course, the chaos continue in Somalia and the confusion as well. And now President Farmajo has appointed a new spy chief after the. It's a lot, and I think we talked about it here yesterday, so I don't want to keep repeating this story, but I think Somalia is in our radar, and a lot of things are happening. They're supposed to be preparing for an election that has been postponed I don't know how many times, and the Prime Minister was responsible for the preparation of the upcoming elections, and with this new acrimony and confusion and misunderstandings, I don't know if at all Somalia is readying itself to the elections that the country is meant to be going over. Update on Guinea, the military leaders that seized power the other day have decided to release political prisoners. About 80 of them who were arrested during when Mr. Alpha Conde was the president, and a lot of them, I think, were protesting Conde's decision to run for an illegal third term. So the military leaders have released about 80 prisoners, and this comes ahead of a summit that Guinea is supposed to be having with ECOWAS. ECOWAS is just working overtime. They have so much chaos to do and so much cleanup to do in West Africa. It's amazing. The ECOWAS team is just from Mali, where they were already foretold the military junta will keep to their word that elections will be held next year in February, because according to ECOWAS, the junta in Mali do not seem to be doing much in preparation to that election. They're not in a hurry, so they've raised some concerns, and then just before they're able to sort that out, now they have Guinea to deal with, and now ECOWAS, I think, will be meeting. We'll be having a meeting soon with the military leaders so that we can know really, what's happening there in Guinea and the way forward. It's a lot. It's a lot. So anyway, that's what we have for you. And of course, the insecurity in South Sudan also continues, and the government has been asked to form a committee to look into the atrocities going on in Tambura County. I think we've talked about this enough times. President Salva Kiir, you need to do something about the insecurity, and if you're not in a position to, because I know your government have your government has raised issues before, because we know the extension of the embargo on Sudan was extended by the United Nations this year, and you lamented so much, saying now you've denied South Sudan an opportunity to buy arms that will, equip its military and its forces to be able to fight and contain the security in the country, but you cannot, allow a country that is in constant conflict with itself to buy arms. But nevertheless, arms have been finding their way in South Sudan, and so there has been an increase in communal violence, in kidnappings, and every other thing that is happening, I think, somewhere in other parts of Africa in South Sudan. And so they're being asked, Tambura County is the latest that has been experiencing the levels of insecurity that is quite worrying. And so they formed a committee, and they're trying to look into what's really happening there in South Sudan, or poor South Sudan. I don't know. Sometimes it's just too much going on over there. And all right, very well. Let me see what you have to say. Isaac Coyne, thank you so much. You're saying what? South Sudan, PCCA, and RCM Youth York Revolution. What does that mean? Bismarck Bura, thank you for your time this afternoon. And you've decided to respond to the Biafrans who are not feeling very jolly this afternoon. But anyway, as I've said, Kanu is suing our president, the person of President Muhammadu Buhari, not the state of Nigeria, but Muhammadu Buhari. So let's just see how that will go, and I'll be following that story. So if you want to know more of how this story is unfolding, and if at all, the government will even allow for this to continue, and if at all they present him to the court next month, just keep it here, and I'll bring you the latest as the stories continue to develop. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Miriam Ogoti. It has been a pleasure to have you this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye for now.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.